Hey everyone, welcome back to the Quality Connect YouTube channel. I'm Trevor and this is Andrew Wellwood of Quality Connect. Thanks for coming in again, Andrew.
No problem.
And today we're going to be talking about budgeting, cash flow, and the bank, working for a successful build. So here's a quick quote from Sir Richard Branson. Never take your eyes off the cash flow because it's the lifeblood of business. Now here's a stat that everybody knows but nobody wants to admit when they're starting out a new business, is that 50% of all businesses fail within the first 5 years, and up to 80% fail within the first 10 years of business. So that's something that we want to avoid, and which is why we're here and why you started Quality Connect. So maybe tell us a little bit of story about budgeting and cash flow, things that you've noticed in the past with other builders.
I've noticed a lot of the smaller builders and even larger builders, if you follow the news or follow the industry at all, are going, when things start to go slow, they start to go under. And what I've seen and what I've heard from talking with these people, unfortunately, they leave a lot of trades holding the bill.
Right.
And the reason to that is they're not malicious people. These aren't con artists out there trying to get a few builds in, not pay their trades, and run away to Cuba with the cash. Like, these are honest business people that got stuck not watching the finances.
Right.
People see a lot of money coming in, and they think they're doing well. They see a lot of more money coming in than going out. They think we're doing great. We're making money. We're selling homes. We're doing well. The problem is if you're using the money coming in from the next project to pay for the project that you're on right now, it's just a matter of time before things catch up. A lot of people in that situation they're already bankrupt and underneath,
Right.
and they just don't realize it yet because things haven't slowed down. So that's when you see things slowing down and people start going under, is they can't rob from their next job to pay for their current job because their next job is delayed a little bit, and then all of a sudden people aren't getting paid and things are going under. So
Yikes. That's never a good thing.
No.
So Andrew, when you talked with a bank about building, they discuss cash flow and a contingency fund. Is that enough?
it is if you're honest. If you're honest to the bank. I know banks are very, very wary about lending to builders. Like, they would rather lend to almost anybody else other than someone building a house. The banks are in the business of being banks. They're not builders. They don't want to take over your build halfway through. They don't want to manage a construction company. Like, they don't want to do that.
Right.
So they want to make sure you have enough money to complete the build straight through. They don't want to take over halfway, even if there's more equity in the build. They don't want to, because they're going to have to hire someone to complete the job. So if you're honest about what you're building, you're not fudging the quotes or fudging the numbers or anything like that, then what they suggest for a contingency fund is good. It should work for you. I know, talking with a few of the banks, they haven't had a builder run out of funds halfway through because of how diligent they are in checking their numbers.
Oh, that's awesome.
Yeah.
So what stages are the hardest to fund if you're doing a typical draw mortgage with the bank?
All right, so after saying all the good things about the bank, I'm going to say a few negative things. Going through and looking at the banks and how they determine what you're going to need for funds, they're a little outdated. Like I said, they're not builders, so they're not looking at this. Like, some of them are still asking the question, are you doing, parging on the inside? Like, are you doing lath and plaster? Like, that was stuff that was stuck out. That stuff's been outdated for a long time.
Yeah,
but
50 years.
Yeah, but anyways, back to them. A lot of the stages are hard to fund because of when you have to order the products. As a smaller builder, a lot of the suppliers require you to pay up front, and that's just a normal, a window company isn't going to put windows into production for you if you don't pay for them first. So you're going to need to pay for the windows. You're going to need to pay for a lot of the stuff before it comes up. Cabinets, you're looking at about 8 to 10 weeks on average for a build time for a set of cabinets. So you're ordering cabinets and paying for cabinets at framing stage. But the bank isn't going to reimburse you for the funds of cabinets till draw 3. So you're going to have to come up with that cash, pay it out, and not get reimbursed till usually your 3rd draw, depending on the bank and the draw system that you're using for.
Okay.
So those are the hardest stages to fund. The first stage is usually pretty easy. They at foundation, so you're paying for the foundation, then they reimburse you for the foundation. It's the one stage and the last stage, obviously.
Yeah.
Because everything's done, so they can reimburse you for everything, knowing that it's all done. So.
Perfect.
Yeah.
So how do we push some of the trades to get better payment terms to meet cash flow?
First off, this is a conversation you have to have with your trades
Okay.
before they start to work.
Okay.
Some smaller companies, like people, are hand to mouth. They get the job, they get paid from the job, they pay their workers, they pay everything based on an agreed upon time frame. So if you try and squeeze them after for a 60-day pay period, like I said, cash flow is what crushes businesses. So if you kill a small company's cash flow, you can kill that company. So this is a conversation you have to have before you hire them.
Right.
And a lot of larger companies will float you. They'll say, yeah, we can go to a 60-day, 30 or 60-day pay term. Some of them will charge you a couple % interest on it, which, if it's a matter of making your build or not, a couple % isn't going to make or break you on one company. So you can definitely get a lot farther with a little bit less cash out if you negotiate good terms with your trades. Nice.
So why is a 10 to 15% cost overrun a realistic amount to expect?
There's a lot of trades where you are going to go over on your quotes. Excavation, if you're hauling dirt away, how far you have to haul the dirt, how much you've got to go. If your excavator's out a little bit, you're going to use up more concrete than expected, stuff like that. Framing, lumber, like that. That's a very tricky one to estimate. I know as a framer, if I framed the same house 5 times, I would use a different amount of lumber every time. It's just how it goes. So certain things like that, you're going to be over. Some things are going to go up. Cost of lumber goes up. Cost of drywall goes up. Sometimes you've got a nice flooring selection picked out, and your wife changes the flooring selection. And you don't dare go against her, so your cost of flooring goes up a little bit. Stuff like that. It's a realistic thing to expect, and it's nice to know that you have that, so that you're not trying to find flooring off of Kijiji because you didn't budget enough to have a professional do it.
We're just going to use OSB flooring.
Yeah, with a good coat of paint from
go.
the Eco Station. It's multicolored. Yeah, it's the newest thing.
Yeah, it's all the rage.
Oh yeah.
Okay, so the bank is forcing me to get quotes from 3 different trades. That's typically what they ask for, and only certain major trade categories. Why is this, and is this enough to guarantee your success?
I believe it's a great idea to get 3 quotes. Then you're ruling out. You're ruling out a red flag. Some companies, and it's not a great way to do business, but if they don't want your work, they will bid it really high. If they're really busy, they will bid the job really high. And then if they get it, great. They love it. It's cash in their pocket. Or they'll take it and they'll sub it out to somebody else.
Right.
And then also on the other end, if you've got someone who's quite a bit lower than everybody else, that could be a red flag as well. They're either missing something on their quote, or they're not too sure, or they're just like, there's some red flag is popping up there. Right. So to get 3 quotes is a good ballpark, and then you can determine. You don't have to go with the cheapest one. You at least know you should be around what you should be paying.
Right. Okay. So a good little safety net.
Yeah, and does it guarantee success from only getting the major quotes? No, but it's going to give you a close idea to what the bid is going to be. Personally, I think it's a lazy man's way of quoting out a job. If you're going, this is what my foundation, framing, drywall, finishing, siding, you get all the quotes on those, and then you just ballpark the rest of it. Yeah, you can come up with a off the cuff idea of what it's going to cost to build, but why not just do the entire thing, price the entire thing out properly, and then you've got a really good idea of what it's going to cost. You're not guessing at what railings are going to cost. You know what they're going to cost. You've got it quoted.
Right. Very good. So is cash flow really the reason that most builders go out of business?
Yes, definitely.
100%.
I would say it is definitely the majority of it. There's a lot of good builders that go out. They build a nice house. It's built properly. Was it built on budget? Probably not. That's the problem.
Right.
Is now they've got a nice $800,000 house that's going to sell for $700,000, and that doesn't work for that's cash flowing the wrong way.
The wrong way.
Yes.
Yeah, that's the bad.
Yeah, there are some that that have a shoddy product, but the majority of them build a really good house, and they build it for too much that doesn't match the area, and the cash flows out and doesn't flow in.
So there's a lot of things involved in building. So Andrew, the last question that I have for you is, what can we do to make sure that your cash flow isn't the reason that yours slows down or stops?
Well, like any good business, you should definitely have a plan. And building a home is building a business if you're going to do it for a profit. And that's why we have Quality Connect, is you can price out your entire job, start to finish. And that's what you need to do. You need to price everything out so that you know exactly what it's going to cost for you to build the home. And in that conversation, in chatting with the trades, you're going to find out when the trades need to be paid, when their payout is, what their terms are, deposits, everything like that. So in chatting with all the trades and getting all the details that you need to build, then you can find out what you're going to need at different stages for cash, so that you can find out, if at some point you're going to need $70,000 to pay trades before you get a draw from the bank, then you need to make sure you have $70,000 at least to cover that stage. Otherwise, your build is going to stop. It's going to get stuck. You're going to be waiting for a draw. You're going to be scrounging for money. And that's when you see a lot of the homes and you wonder why they're 3/4 of the way done and they're sitting, or why they're at certain stages and they're sitting. Is the builders trying to scavenge money or look for private investors to make it to the next stage draw.
Right.
And if you know what your build's going to cost, you know what you can sell the home for, and you know what you're going to need cash flow during the build, like when you're going to need to pay for cabinets, when you're going to have to pay for windows, who needs to be paid when. And as long as you have all that information, you write it all out, you can find out exactly what you're going to need cash flow wise to build. Like the days of building a home and off of the bank and getting to different stages before you have to pay trades is gone. You're going to need to pay a lot up front. So that's why you need that cash flow projection.
Yeah. So you need some money to start with in order to make the build go a lot smoother for you.
Exactly. Yeah. You're not going to be able to build a house using the bank. The bank is going to help you, but you need to have cash to get to certain stages to make the build work.
Right. Awesome. Well, thanks a lot, Andrew. That was very informative. You've got
pleasure.
A lot of knowledge in building homes and framing, so I really appreciate your insight. And I know you do too, so please subscribe to the channel and give us a thumbs up if you like what you heard, and we've got more great stuff coming to you soon. Thank you.